Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Pastor D. Robinson. After experiencing homelessness in 1991, one woman had a desire to give back to the community that helped her to rebuild her life. Our guest, Janae Kreitner, is the founder and executive director of Grandma's House of Hope, a 501c3 organization created with a faith-based approach to providing healing and forgiveness in a safe and hopeful environment. Join us as we discuss the risks and challenges facing women who are experiencing homelessness. Welcome, Janae.
Thank you, Pastor D.
Yeah. So tell us, what sparked this desire to begin this ministry and then to call it Grandma's House? What a unique name.
It is a unique name, and it's meant to bring up the kind of things you would think of when you think of your grandma's house. It's safety, it's overstuffed chairs, it's, the smell of cookies in the kitchen. And I really wanted to, if you had a vision of something when you were thinking about taking that difficult walk up to a shelter door, what would you want to have it called? And where would you want to say you're going? Well, I'm going to my grandma's house, So I think that some of the girls that come to us are really fearful about what they might walk into. Mm-hmm. And over again, we hear that these women are blown away by the reception that they receive and the love and forgiveness and warmth of our staff and our community leaders. So that's what we were going for, and I think we got there.
Did you have any challenges coming out? I mean, I know Grandma's House will be a great opening for people running to Grandma, the safety, but what kind of challenges did you have?
Well, just kind of getting it off the ground, I would say, this kind of started out of a ministry to my mother who was ill with early onset Alzheimer's disease. And we brought her home to take care of her in really an effort to complete a walk in forgiveness that God had called me to. I had some things to forgive my mom about and wanted to reconnect with her about it. And when I found her, she was in a skilled nursing facility out in Simi Valley. Mm-hmm. And this poor woman at 67 years old was curled up in a fetal position, waiting to die, bleeding out of a G-tube in her stomach and just kind of moaning and crying. And I used to go up there. At this point in time, I had just come off of being homeless. I didn't even have a car. I would take the train up there with my 10-year-old and my 1-year-old, and we would sit and talk to Mom, and I began to sing to her. Because my background is music and theater, and so she used to love the Gershwin tunes. And so I sang to her one day. I was up there, Someone to Watch Over Me. You know the song? There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone to watch over me. And when I sang that phrase to her, someone to watch over me, she opened her eyes, came out of her fog, looked me dead on in the face and said, God, as though she was crying out for some rescue. And I took 2 steps back. I mean, I remember growing up, there was a Bible in our hallway opened up to a pretty page, but we didn't go to church when I grew up. I was in a household that did that. And so for my mom to cry out in that way was really a revelation to me. I went home to my saint of a husband, who, by the way, is instrumental in bringing me off the street, and asked him, could I bring my mom home and take care of her? Desperately ill. He didn't blink an eye. He said, absolutely, we can. And so we brought Mom home. We ministered to her in a way that God said, you forgave her. I see that. You can leave the baggage at the curb about why you had things to forgive her about and just bring her into your home and love on her. And within 6 weeks after we got her home, that woman was sitting at the dining room table eating a full-on Thanksgiving meal by herself.
Wow. Wow, that's quite an amazing story there. And by the way, good singing too.
Thank you.
What's the mission of Grandma's House?
So I think in many ways when people are homeless, and by the way, homelessness is not something you are, but something that happens to you. And when people are out there experiencing an episode of displacement, they feel very alone. They feel like nobody's listening to them. Yeah. I know I felt like my story was far too complicated to ever communicate in a short interaction with anybody. And so our mission is to find those little pockets of people who feel like they're too complicated. So that may work out to be a homeless woman who has cancer, who can't get into a program because she needs to take treatment and can't work the whole program, a human trafficking rescue, a senior with a disability for some of the very same reasons, a woman in a late-term pregnancy who can't get into a shelter because she's too far along in her pregnancy. If you have difficulty accessing or are ineligible for other programs, that's what we exist for.
Well, you talked about someone that maybe be too long in their pregnancy. So there's probably a time frame. How quickly can someone become homeless?
Oh gosh, I think we're all a few paychecks away from being homeless. I mean, when you are living from paycheck to paycheck and your business closes because there's, I don't know, a flood or something, so you're out of work for a few weeks, or you fall ill. This is a really common story, that someone takes an illness and then has to stay home and recuperate, and they end up getting, basically laid off from their job because they're unable, But in that meantime, they're losing that income. And, the eviction notice comes. The landlord is not waiting or listening to your stories about why you can't pay the rent. So it can happen very quickly to people you wouldn't imagine it could happen to. I have lawyers in my program, nurses in my program, people who are making, really good incomes before they fell on a hard time. Yeah.
What about Orange County? How great is the homeless population in Orange County?
Well, there's some statistics out there. We do a point-in-time count every 2 years with the county that counts the homeless and come up with around, I want to say, between 7,000 and 11,000 people. But that's only who we can see on the night that we count, right?
Yeah.
So I can tell you that from our perspective, we personally at Grandma's House of Hope receive 7,000 calls for help in any given year. And we're one of the largest women's housing programs in the county. We have 110 beds with 11 homes in Orange County for specifically unaccompanied homeless women who face the highest risks when they're out on the street.
Janae, you have a deep passion for helping the homeless, and I know that you experienced it yourself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as I said, it can happen to anyone. And, myself, I went to college on an opera scholarship. I double majored in theater. I went to school at the American Conservatory Theater up in San Francisco, got my equity card, and I worked in the entertainment business for 15 years. And at the time I became homeless, I was director of business affairs at Wilhelmina Artists, renegotiating contracts. And I actually did a show called Homeless, a street opera, where I played the part of a homeless woman who was 9 months pregnant, a heroin addict, and pregnant.
Wow.
The story in and of itself was not a trigger. It's kind of a foretelling or a foreshadowing of what was to come for me, right? But the story between me and this person I was portraying when we were children, socioeconomically very different, but the same crisis, the same abuse as children. Yeah. And when I did the show, a family member came to see it, and it triggered memories for him.
Wow. He
waited till the show was over, shared those memories with me, and that's when everything surfaced from my past. And I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't have support around me. 23 years ago, people didn't talk about childhood abuse the way they do now.
Yeah.
And everybody just kept telling me, well, it happened a long time ago, get over it. And I needed to go through, it was like it was happening to me again as I remembered it. My life really fell apart around this. My marriage fell apart. I lost my job. Somebody who came into my life talked me into selling my little pet sitting business I had on the side, the only thing I had left, and moving to Salt Lake City with him, with my son. And it seemed like a really good idea at the time to get away from it all and go someplace where people seemed to understand. Yeah. But it got very dark and very ugly very quickly. And 3 years to the day that I made that decision, I was left abandoned on the side of the street in Anaheim, looking at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, in the rain, huddled up in a phone booth with $20 in my pocket and 2 suitcases that didn't have wheels on them in those days, by the way. You had to pick them up and carry them down the street. And if it hadn't been for the amazing kindness of this prostituted woman who took pity on me and put me and my son in a safe place for the night, I don't really know what would have happened to me.
Speaking of that, a single mother, children on the streets, there's got to be tremendous risks that they can encounter. What are some of the challenges that they have?
Well, I can tell you that women are pushed into activities they wouldn't ever consider when you're trying to take care of and care for a child. What I did was I got my son as quickly as I could with a family member who could make sure he went to school during the week, and then I was out there trying to make enough money to have a nice motel for him over the weekend. And I can remember having to count literally quarters and dimes and nickels on the counter of a motel, just to try to put enough money together to get a nice hotel room for the weekend, and not having enough money to buy him a 99-cent hamburger we could smell cooking from across the parking lot. And that was my breaking point. My low point was teaching my son how to roller skate in the parking lot of a motel, dodging cars.
Yeah.
It's tough out there for women with children. There are more resources for women with children than there are for women alone, but it's tough out there.
You know, what do you think is a key factor that made you say, hey, you know what, I need help and I'm going to just suck it up and do it? What do you think is stopping other people from doing that?
You know, it doesn't happen overnight is the thing. It's like somebody coming along and offering you this olive branch that says, I'm going to make things all right. I mean, people who are homeless can be very distrustful. So when it really comes down to it, you have to get to your bottom, your breaking, your lowest point, and be willing to just say, I'm going to try one more thing, and take that opportunity when it presents itself to you, because it's usually coming out of a place of his ministry. You know, that person is going to come along and say, you know what, I'm going to give you an opportunity in this program. Take my hand. And that's a real scary thing to do when you're out there on the street, because you don't know if that person means you harm or good. But for me, it was getting to my breaking point and allowing a stranger to help me. And then it took me another 3 years before I was broke enough to understand that it was Jesus who needed to come to my rescue and be willing to receive that help, because he put that stranger in my life in motion. And it took me a while to hear it and see it, but I got there.
Amen.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about the strangers. There's some strangers out there that are watching this program that want to help. How can the community get involved?
The community can involved in a lot of ways. I recommend that you get involved in a way with an organization that's already serving the homeless. You don't go out there on your own and make up your own rules. We've tried things one way or the other and figured out what works best, most of the time. And there are safety issues you need to take into consideration. So people are always asking me, should I give that person money on the street? And I always tell them, you have to lead from your heart and God's presence, is he telling me to do this? I remember that one man gave me $20 to fill my tank in my car one time, and it meant the world to me. I sat there and wept for this kindness of this stranger. But in general, I recommend that you put little food bags together for people that are on the freeway off-ramp, and when they're asking for money, you hand them a bottle of water and a snack bar, and if you give them something in a can, make sure you put a spoon in there for them. Give them dignity, right? Toothbrush, some toothpaste, that kind of thing. If they won't accept that from you, they're probably not looking for support in the way that would be most healthy for them.
If someone wants to share help with this ministry, or a church wants to get involved, where can they go?
They can go to our website at grummanshouseofhope.org. They can certainly call our offices in Santa Ana at 714-558-8600. You can call me direct. I am available to anybody who wants to talk to us about how they'd like to partner with us to help the homeless.
Great job. We'll be right back with more Joy in Our Town after this message.
Emergencies and disasters happen with little or no warning and often occur while you are away from home. Alert OC is Orange County's emergency notification system used to keep residents and businesses informed during emergencies. It is a vital community service to keep your family safe by rapidly calling your home, work, or cell phone to inform you of a developing incident. Text messages are also sent as alert notifications, which are particularly valuable for individuals with hearing impairments or other access and functional needs. Be ready for emergencies by registering your alternate phone numbers, cell phones, and email addresses at alertoc.com. You will receive a